chapter 12 in the Blue Book. The chapter is entitled The Holy Spirit's Curriculum. In the original edition, this is chapter 11, God's Plan for Salvation, and starts with the introduction. And in the new CE, this chapter is called The Sanity of Love, and starts with interpreting the motives of others. The Blue Book will be the judgment of the Holy Spirit. Now, what this is going to talk about in these first few paragraphs is exactly what you are doing. What we are doing. How do you take heaven, which is your reality, your being, and block yourself from it? It's going to tell you right in this first paragraph. So let's get into it. You have been told not to make error real, and the way to do this is very simple. Here's the key right here. If you want to believe in error, you would have to make it real because it is not true. So here's a two-step process. We always talk about belief. Well, we made a belief system. We made faith and belief in seeing. But what did we do first? If you want to believe in error, you have to make it real first. So you have to do a construct in your mind to make it real because it's not true. It's an illusion. Then you believe in it. So you build it, and then you believe in it. Now, what is the opposite? He says, but truth is real in its own right, and to believe in truth, you do not have to do anything. So that's a one-step process. You don't have to do anything to believe in truth. You just let it be. Now, you're still in belief. It's still in perception, but it's just allowing what is real, what is true, to come to the forefront and to believe in that. And we use this process of belief, faith and belief, hooking it to vision, to get us totally out of this mind operation that we're functioning in. So again, just to recap. In order to be in error, you have to make error real. Then you believe in it. To operate in truth, you do nothing. That's why he says you need do nothing. And you just simply believe in that which is true. Only the truth is true. Now, this is very simple, but at the same time, it is very revealing to the function and operation that we have been functioning in thinking, in the mind. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly, but to your interpretation of it. Your interpretation thus becomes the justification for the response. Okay, so now we're adding some steps here. We had to make something real. We believed in it. And now we're interpreting it. And then we're responding in kind. Okay, so this is all in one paragraph. This is an incredible paragraph unveiling the crazy, the insane, the mad operation of mind that we grabbed into, that we threw away knowledge and we walked into. So our interpretation becomes the response. Have you ever caught yourself interpreting something that wasn't real? You just thought it was. You believed it was. Well, why did you believe it? Because you made it that way. You desired, your desire, everything starts with desire. Your desire was to be tricked so that you would respond in this way. You ever do an addition error or a subtraction error and think your checkbook, think you've overdrawn, and you start freaking out and you start responding, you get angry, you get upset, you get anxious, and then you realize, oh, I just made an error. Yeah, but it wasn't an accidental error. You made error real, and then you believed in it. And then you interpreted it, what that's going to cost, and all the problems that go with it, and then you respond in what? Panic, anxiety, fear, anger. So that's what's going on within you and within everything you are viewing or seeing or perceiving. Now, he says, that is why analyzing the motives of others is hazardous to you. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you or desert you or enslave you, you will respond as if he had actually done so, having made his error real to you. To interpret error is to give it power, and having done this, you will overlook truth. So this is the danger of analyzing motives. And that's really all we do. Oh, I just met this person. What are they all about? Why did they want to talk to me? What is their background? Why do people ask the questions they do? Oh, hi, nice to meet you. What do you do for a living? Where do you come from? Where did you grow up? What is your heritage? We automatically, they've proven this scientifically, our eyes go to certain parts of the body. And it's analyzing. What am I looking at? It's interpreting. It looks at the clothes. It looks at the jewelry. It looks at the shoes. It looks at certain aspects of the face. It's looking for equal sides, balance to the face. Is this person attractive or ugly? This is part of the way we set the mind up. And it reflects in brain activity, body activity, but it's a mind operation. So it doesn't matter that they are not attacking you, that they're not deserting you, they're not enslaving you. If you decide, in other words, everything starts with your desire. If you decide up front that that's the message, you send out the messengers report back to you, this person is going to attack you. Let's analyze this. Their motive must be bad. It must be evil. So they're going to attack. They're going to desert you. They'll enslave you. They will not come through for you. They will not support you. They will betray you. And then you act just like that's really happening. We give it the power. We give it all the power. And what is it doing? It's the power that overlooks truth. All right, that's all paragraph 1. Now paragraph 2. The analysis of ego motivation is very complicated, very obscuring, and never without your own ego involvement. The whole process represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. Now, when Jesus back in 2016 gave us these words about how the mind works, how it operates, it begins with your desire. It is an activating agent. Therefore, it is your agent. It says, oh, you desire that? Let me give it to you. And it does that through attributes called purpose, function, then meaning, and then understanding. So the end of all things is to understand. But you can't understand without meaning, and we're making a meaningless world because it's not real. So this is why this is very, very complicated. Why? Because you're trying to demonstrate the ability that you can understand something. You can't understand something that's meaningless, but you're trying to demonstrate it. So how do you demonstrate it? You function in this operation. You're making it real. You're believing in it. You interpret it. You analyze the motive, and you decide to believe, to use your power of belief that this is a problem, that this is sinful, that this is dangerous, that this is evil. It's a belief in attack, desertion, or enslavement. And then it becomes the actuality. We give it the power, and we overlook truth. Therefore, what we think we understand, we think we now have, oh, he's got great judgment. I've developed this great judgment over many, many years and many, many situations. No, all you've done is further dove down into the ego operation. This is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. You may then control your reactions behaviorally, but not emotionally. This would obviously be a split or an attack on the integrity of your mind, pitting one level within it against another. So where is the conflict? The conflict is always in the mind. You have thoughts that are going in opposite directions within you. Now you may have learned how to hide all that through your or in your actions, but not in your emotions. And so you run around angry all the time. You don't know why you're angry. Well, you're angry because you have a split mind and you're attacking yourself. You're pitting one level of your mind against another in this constant fragmentation of thought. And you're reacting to your interpretations as if you know what you're doing. You are a mental patient in a mental institution, and no one knows what they're doing. The only way to get out of this madness is to see only truth. All right, paragraph 3. Now, in the original edition, this is called The Judgment of the Holy Spirit, in his chapter 11, section 2. There is but one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense, and because it is the Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort at all on your part. And remember how much effort you're expending. Remember, he said it's very complicated, very obscuring, never without your own ego involvement. It's a process. It's a lot of work to make this illusion of error, of sin. But the Holy Spirit's judgment is easy. Take it easy. It requires no effort at all on your part. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. There's the simplicity of how to get out of this ego operation. You can play that game, or you can play the Holy Spirit's game, and the Holy Spirit's game is easy. Not a bunch of rules. You ever buy these games, and you have to read the rules, and it's like 20 pages, and by the time you get done with the first page, it's like, I don't want to play this stupid game. It's too complicated. Or you know what happens? We make up our own rules. I ain't reading the directions. We'll just do it the way we're going to do it, the way I'm going to do it. And it's always the way you're going to do it. It's simple. Every loving thought is true. If it's not a loving thought, then it's a request for a loving thought, and the answer or response, the whole operation, the response, both in action and emotion, is love. It's a loving thought. It's the increase in the gratitude for love. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? No response can be appropriate except the willingness to give it to him. For this and only this is what he is asking for. Give him help. Offer him anything else, and you are assuming the right to attack his reality by interpreting it as you see fit. All right. Here's a loving thought. Great. That's easy. I love you too. Great. Now, here comes an unloving thought. I love you. Love goes right back. You're crying out for love. No anger. No justification for anything but a response of love. No recognition of anything that is not real. But if I want to offer him something else, then I have to assume I have the right to attack his reality as love, as a loving thought, as a request for love, and interpret it as I see fit, which will range anywhere from suspicion to total viciousness, because that is the ego thought. Perhaps the danger of this to your own mind is not yet fully apparent. If you believe that an appeal for help is something else, you'll react to the something else. Your response will therefore be inappropriate to reality as it is, but not to your perception of it. You ever have a good friend? You're talking to them and you say, well, here's what he did. I don't know what to do about it. What do you mean you don't know? Don't you see what he's doing? He's attacking. You've got to respond. You've got to take control here. You've got to show him who's boss. And what is that? That's trying to react to something else. That response will be inappropriate to reality as it is, but not to your perception of it. There's nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help as exactly what they are, except your own imagined need to attack. It is only this that makes you willing to engage in endless, quote, battles with reality, in which you deny the reality of the need for healing by making it unreal. You would not do this except for your unwillingness to accept reality as it is, and which you therefore withhold from yourself. So if I won't accept my brother's reality, then I cannot accept my own reality, and I'm stuck in a war, in an endless battle. I'm engaging in endless battles with this reality. I must deny it. Remember how much work it is to pull this off, to make the error real and believe in it, and respond, interpret, and analyze, and decide and respond? That's a lot of work. It's easy to recognize truth and to respond only to truth. Accept it as it is. It's very simple. It is surely good advice to tell you not to judge what you do not understand. No one with a personal investment is a reliable witness, for truth to him has become what he wants it to be. If you are unwilling to perceive an appeal for help as what it is because you are unwilling to give help and to receive it. Notice giving and receiving are together there. To fail to recognize a call for help is to refuse help. Would you maintain that you do not need it? What's he saying there? When someone responds unlovingly and is crying out for help, that's your call for help. That is your answer of help. Because if you don't answer him, you are refusing the help he has to give you, because he is the Son of God. The miracle is a total operation. It is the giving and the receiving. So if you don't give it, you're not going to receive it. And to recognize the opportunity for a miracle or forgiveness, to give, is to block your ability to receive. Now remember this thing, no one with a personal investment. You have to remember, everybody's got a personal investment in the ego thought. They're king of their world. Don't accept a witness to unreality, because it is skewed, and it is skewed in the light of that person being the king of their kingdom. Recognize only the oneness and the equality of the sonship. Yet this is what you are maintaining when you refuse to recognize a brother's appeal, for only by answering his appeal can you be helped. Deny him your help, and you will not recognize God's answer to you. The Holy Spirit does not need your help in interpreting motivation, but you do need His. Only appreciation is an appropriate response to your brother. Gratitude is due him for both his loving thoughts and his appeals for help, for both are capable of bringing love into your awareness if you perceive them truly. So, he doesn't need your evaluation. I wonder how she's going to be today. I wonder how the kids are going to act this morning. No, all you're going to see is either love or the call for love. And the answer is going to always be the same. That's his only interpretation. He doesn't need anything else. And recognize that when you're seeing not a loving thought, that it's no different than seeing a loving thought, because it's still the opportunity for love to come into your awareness. How? By seeing and recognizing only appreciation and gratitude for the Son of God, who is reminding you of your reality, who is reminding you of your function and your purpose as a creator, which is reminding you of your Father and your oneness in communion and communication with Him and all that is. And all your sense of strain comes from your attempts not to do just this. Okay, why are you agitated? Why are you angry? Why are you upset? Why are you anxious? Why are you fearful? Because you're fighting this operation, this miracle operation. Miracles are natural. Everything else is unnatural. So if you're wondering what's going on, you're fighting accepting love, giving and accepting love, seeing only love or a call for love. You're fighting that, and all your agitation, all of your conflict is based on it. It is the source of all conflict. It is the source of all lack of peace. How simple, then, is God's plan for salvation? There is but one response to reality, for reality evokes no conflict at all. There is but one teacher of reality who understands what it is. He does not change his mind about reality, because reality does not change. Although your interpretations of reality are meaningless in your divided state, his remain consistently true. He gives them to you because they are for you. Do not attempt to, quote, help a brother in your way, for you cannot help yourself, but hear his call for the help of God, and you will recognize your own need for the Father. So what is he saying? He's saying, just get out of the way. Just accept, just join in with me. Stop this other operation. Stop your making it real. Stop your believing. Stop your interpretations and your judgments and your analysis and your decisions, and just accept me and let me do my thing. It's so simple. Just get out of the way is basically what he's saying. Get out of your own way, because you, the real you, is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Course calls it them, capital T-H-E-M, or they, capital T-H-E-Y. That's you in there. You're part of the them. You're part of the they. Get out of their way with your little idea of who you are. Your interpretations of your brother's needs are your interpretation of yours. By giving help, you are asking for it, and if you perceive but one need in yourself, you will be healed. For you will recognize God's answer as you want it to be, and if you want it in truth, it will be truly yours. Every appeal you answer in the name of Christ brings the remembrance of your Father closer to your awareness. For the sake of your need, then, hear every call for help as what it is, so God can answer you. This is about you accepting the atonement for yourself. How? By understanding that everything is me. I want to help myself, so I will respond to every call for help because I want to help myself. If it's selfish, it's a capital S selfish, and there's nothing wrong with that one. By applying the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others more and more consistently, you will gain an increasing awareness that his criteria are equally applicable to you. For to recognize fear is not enough to escape from it, although the recognition is necessary to demonstrate the need for escape. All right, so he's talking about fear, and he's saying you have to recognize it. You have to recognize that your interpretations have been based in fear because you've been denying truth and denying love. To deny love, you must be in a thought of fear. Fear is not real, but you're believing in it. But to just recognize that you're in fear does not lead to escape. But you have to recognize that that's what it is. It's all fear. This dream is made of fear. Bodies are fear in form. That's why we fear one another. That's why we're awkward around one another. So what is the answer? The Holy Spirit must still translate the fear into truth. If you were left with the fear once you had recognized it, you would have taken a step away from reality, not towards it. Yet we have repeatedly emphasized the need to recognize fear and face it, without disguise, as a crucial step in the undoing of the ego. So we have to face the fear. We have to recognize it for what it is, and without disguise. In other words, we're not going to puff it up. We're not going to prop it up. We're not going to cover it with fanciness. We're going to see it for what it is. Its ugly idea of fear. And we're going to look at it with spirit until that fear dissipates. And I'm not going to step away from it until it does dissipate. I'm not going to stick it back under the rug of my own unawareness. Consider how well the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motives of others will serve you then. Having taught you to accept only loving thoughts in others and to regard everything else as an appeal for help, He has taught you that fear itself is an appeal for help. Your fear is an appeal for help. Anyone's fear is an appeal for help. It's not enough to, they're just in fear. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, that's their fear. It ain't my problem. No, it's a cry for help. It's an asking. It's a request for love. You must answer. If you are loved, you must answer. This is the Holy Spirit's interpretation. This is what this course is all about. This is what recognizing fear really means. If you do not protect it, He will reinterpret it. That is the ultimate value in learning to perceive attack as a call for love. We have already learned that fear and attack are inevitably associated. If only attack produces fear, and if you see attack as the call for help that it is, the unreality of fear must dawn on you, for fear is a call for love in unconscious recognition of what has been denied. What is fear? An unconscious recognition of love and its denial. It's all that's going on. Paragraph 9, in the original edition, you would see this is 11.3, the mechanism of miracles. Fear is a symptom of your own deep sense of loss. If when you perceive it in others, you learn to supply the loss, the basic cause of fear is removed. So notice the connection between fear and loss. Why do we get fearful? Because we've already interpreted the loss, the lack. What happened with the checkbook when you did the math wrong? Oh my God, I thought I had something and I've now lost it. I'm in lack. I'm in the negative. I'm in the red. Fear rises up. Why? Because it's all the same idea. It's all the same concept. But if you supply the loss, the fear goes with it. You get rid of the lack and the loss, that idea, fear's connected to it. So it's all removed at the same time because it's all the same thing. Thereby, you teach yourself that fear does not exist in you. The means for removing it is in yourself, and you have demonstrated this by giving it. Fear and love are the only emotions of which you are capable. It's only two emotions, only one's real. One is false, for it was made out of denial, and denial depends on the belief in what is denied for its own existence. What is that saying? Let me read that second part again. Denial depends on the belief in what is denied for its own existence. See, if I'm an atheist, if I believe I'm an atheist, my belief must deny that there's a God. So therefore, I am reinforcing my belief that there is a God to be able to deny so that I can step into this denial called being an atheist. Just that alone should show you how insane it is. But that's how denial operates. It is an idea. It is a thought. By interpreting fear correctly as a positive affirmation of the underlying belief it masks, you are undermining its perceived usefulness by rendering it useless. That's the opposite of what we just said. I'm not denying fear. If I'm denying my fear, then I'm making the fear real by utilizing denial. But if I interpret it differently, if I accept the Holy Spirit's interpretation that it's not fear, so I don't have to deny it, it's love and a call for love, and I must proactively answer it and agree with it and join with it, then I'm not denying anything. Therefore, I am not upholding that which could possibly be denied. The only thing you're denying is the idea of denial. So interpret fear correctly as what it is. Defenses that do not work at all are automatically discarded. If you raise what fear conceals to clear-cut, unequivocal predominance, fear becomes meaningless. You have denied its power to conceal love, which was its only purpose. The veil that you have drawn across the face of love has disappeared. And so fear is shown for what it is. It's the same as darkness. It does not exist. Your belief in darkness is all that darkness is. It has no essence of itself. Only light has essence. And only when you release your idea of darkness, that darkness could ever overtake light, do you recognize that darkness doesn't exist and has no power. And it's the same with fear or any other opposition to truth. If you would look upon love, which is the world's reality, how could you do better than to recognize in every defense against it the underlying appeal for it? In other words, if I'm trying to deny something, I'm really trying to uphold it. See, and the ego understands that. That's why it has you trying to fight everything. Fight this, fight that, fight fear, fight your anger, beat yourself up. Remember, Jesus said, don't fight yourself? That's why he said that. If resistance is strong, don't fight yourself. Because what are you doing? If you fight the resistance, you're upholding and increasing the resistance. Love is the world's reality. See, that's the real world. The real world I don't have to make real. I can believe in it. Why? Because it's a reflection of truth. I can believe now in truth. What is my belief in truth? See, I am the truth. In the heavenly thought, you are the truth. You don't believe in truth. There's no belief in heaven. You just are. But we're in an idea of belief. So if you're going to believe in something, if you have to function in an operation of faith and belief, then hook it to vision, which is the reflection of truth. What is truth in this operation? It's only my brother's loving thoughts, not his unloving thoughts. There's an appropriate response and an inappropriate response. How could you better learn of its reality than by answering the appeal for it by giving it? The Holy Spirit's interpretation of fear does dispel it, for the awareness of truth cannot be denied. Thus does the Holy Spirit replace fear with love and translate error into truth. And thus will you learn of Him how to replace your dream of separation with the fact of unity. For the separation is only the denial of union, and correctly interpreted attests to your eternal knowledge that union is true. This is the only thing that will work. Based on everything we've just said, only the Holy Spirit's plan here will work, because if we're trying to join when we're already in union, oh, we've got to get together, let's agree, let's associate, an alliance here. You are reinforcing the idea of separation rather than recognizing the fact of unity. It is a tricky, ingenious, egoic operation.